Imagine that one ordinary Tuesday morning, as people sip their coffee and scroll through their phones, Earth simply stops spinning. No warning, no rumble, no dramatic sound effect. Just an instant, catastrophic halt. For a brief moment, nothing appears unusual. The sky is still blue, the ground is still solid, the world is still the world. But a fraction of a second later, reality reminds us that it follows physics, not convenience. Everything not bolted to solid bedrock suddenly continues moving at the Earth's original rotational speed, roughly 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. That means the atmosphere, the oceans, the buildings, the trees, and even the coffee in your mug lurch forward in a massive global windstorm. Entire cities effectively get sandblasted by the air itself as it rushes eastward with enough force to shred steel like paper. Cars, houses, containers, forests, and every loose object become deadly projectiles. Imagine a hurricane so strong that it doesn't just knock trees down, it tears them into splinters and throws them miles away. Near the poles, this effect would be weaker, meaning people in the Arctic regions might survive a bit longer, although a bit longer is relative when the rest of the planet is unraveling. Within minutes, the oceans begin sloshing violently. They were spinning too, after all, and now their momentum works against them. Gigantic tsunamis thousands of kilometers wide surge over coastlines and keep going, sweeping across continents. The sudden redistribution of water drowns entire countries, obliterates coastlines, and exposes deep seafloors on the opposite side of the world. The shape of Earth's surface itself was sculpted by rotation, with water bulging at the equator. Without rotation, water flows toward the poles, flooding them while leaving equatorial regions strangely bare. If you could look at a global map an hour after the stop, the world would already be unrecognizable. And then, after the chaos of immediate destruction, the long-term consequences begin. With no rotation, Earth loses the Coriolis effect, the invisible hand that organizes weather into storms, jet streams, and predictable patterns. Winds become slow, chaotic, directionless. Storms don't spin. They simply collapse outward like messy, shapeless blobs. Climate zones begin to deform, deserts migrate, rainforests dry out, entire ecosystems collapse because the predictable rhythms they depend on are gone. Day and night also break in the most dramatic way possible. Right now, the Earth rotates once every 24 hours, but without rotation, one side of the planet would face the sun non-stop for half a year while the other side remains in permanent darkness. The day side would bake under relentless sunlight, heating up until oceans boil and land cracks open like an overcooked pie. The night side would freeze into a continent-sized ice sheet where even the atmosphere begins to condense out of the air. Over time, the habitable zone becomes a thin ring of twilight, a narrow strip between burning and freezing. Humans, if any survive the initial apocalypse, would migrate along this belt like nomads chasing permanent sunset. The moon also notices the sudden change. It continues orbiting, of course, but tides become monstrous and unpredictable because the rotation that normally moderates them is gone. Tidal flooding becomes constant along coastlines. What's left of them anyway? Earth's magnetic field, generated by its spinning molten core, would begin to fail over the course of centuries. Without it, radiation from space would bombard the surface unchecked. Auroras would vanish, satellites would fry, life would struggle under the increased cosmic rays. And yet, in the midst of all this destruction, there's a strange, poetic twist. The planet would still orbit the sun, forests might regrow in the twilight strip, and life would slowly adapt. Humanity, if any groups managed to survive, could carve out a new civilization in a world with a 6-month day, 6-month night, and endless, eerie stillness. It wouldn't be the Earth we know, not even close, but it would be a world shaped in every sense by the moment the spinning stopped.